Peggy Gallagher. 1, 2, 3, 4. Peggy Gallagher goes galloping. Bonehead had a bone to pick with Peggy Gallagher. Noel Gallagher. Beyonce Knowles. Noel. That is the worst cup of tea I've ever had in my life. Make that again and make it properly. You wouldn't give that to Chris Moyles, would you? Do you have any idea who my dad is? No, it's not Jeremy Clarkson. Hello, I am Toby Tarrant, and 25 years ago today, an album was released that spiked the sales of Parker's, turned Knebworth into one of the world's most visited destinations, and turned a man called Bonehead into a household name. Yes, it is 25 years since What's the Story? Morning Glory was released. And it's pretty unlikely that Liam and Noel Gallagher are going to get together and have a celebration, so we decided to have a party on their behalf instead. Performances, interviews, Liam going, do you know what I mean? Over and over and over again. And let me make this clear, by the way, before we get started, let's nip this in the bud. I will not be announcing an Oasis reunion on this programme, okay? It's not happening. Before you start getting angry on social media, let's make that clear. Do you really think if Oasis got back together, they'd let me announce it on a show that's only going out on the internet? Of course not. We would milk it a lot more than that, okay? So that is not gonna happen. But what we do have is some awesome stuff just like this. This is Liam Gallagher performing Morning Glory live last year.
the one and only.
Yes, we are celebrating 25 years of Morning Glory, and you may have noticed if you listen to Radio X that we quite like Oasis. It's true, we really, really do. In fact, we like Oasis so much that sometimes we've even played songs off of the Heathen Chemistry album. Even Liam and Noel don't listen to that album. That is how much we like them. But we aren't the only fans of Oasis. Take a look at this.
But yeah, for me, it brings back a hell of a lot of memories, man, because I think within that year or couple of years, like, and then you had the video of There and Then, at the City Ground, and just that whole like image, their image, and that album for me. And also, I think probably about a year after getting it, I got the small guitar chord book with What's the Story as well.
Perfect, yeah.
So like there's like those three. You get the album, there's the concert from Main Road, and the small chord book. So like it's sort of this trilogy for me that that comes into my head, and it was just it was that attitude and everything, and just banger after banger. I had a mad impact on me, you know what I mean? Something that was seemed otherworldly and something you could only dream of, you know what I mean? It was fantastic, you know, it was amazing. And the song, my favourite tune off that album, and still is today, is the song called Hey Now. I think it's track 5, which I think is almost a bit of an underrated song. It's not something, I've mentioned it quite a lot in interviews over the years, but for me, that's my favourite tune on that album. I just, I love everything about it, the way it makes me feel. And I think that whole album makes me feel, you know, that from 9 to sort of, I don't know, to getting into your teens, at mad age, you know what I mean? It takes me back to feeling like a kid, you know.
It's funny because we actually made our first record at Rockfield Studios. Oasis made that record, and there was a documentary about Rockfield Studios not long ago. Yeah. And there was this clip of Liam singing Champagne Supernova, and the rest of the band have like all gone to the pub. And it's just, it's just crazy, like that, how that studio just has so much history, you know?
Yeah, if those walls could talk.
It's just legendary. And again, like, it was just so like raw and visceral, and that there was a bit where they kept trying to like record and it never sounded quite right. And then they ended up just getting their sound guy to kind of mix it. And it was like trying to emulate how good they were live and how crazy they were live on record. And I think, we like really relate to that, you know. We're always trying to get the kind of example of our live show and try and make it come out these two tiny speakers, you know.
It's like their Thriller, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
that's nice.
So many great songs on it, so many singles, and it's just an absolutely legendary album.
I mean, what a band. Absolutely. I love Oasis. Slide Away is probably my favourite song next to Wonderwall, but I just love that track, Slide Away.
What, we're still having the Oasis Blur argument?
We're still having it.
If I had to pick one, you see, you know what it is? I'm one of them people that loves both. I love Oasis and Blur. But if I had to pick one, Oasis are from the north. So, Oasis has to be done. But I think, my brother tried to shield us from that war that was going on while I was growing up. I was born in 94. I was born when Definitely Maybe came out. So my childhood, my brother's 10 years older than us, so he shielded us from it and just tried to play us both at the same time. But I can specifically remember us saying to my brother when I was like 6 that I preferred Oasis. So.
Yep, everyone loves Oasis, apart from maybe one person.
So you've not really kept up with the newer music. So I guess you're not very excited about the 25th anniversary of the Oasis album, What's the Story, Morning Glory.
Not really. Not your thing.
No, I think you could. I think I'd agree with that one. That sort of music, it doesn't even penetrate my ears. It just doesn't wriggle around, and I just can't make anything of it. And all the youngsters are singing away to the song, and I can't make a single word of it.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. you just can't trust the elderly. Now, if like me, when What's the Story Morning Glory came out, you were just a young child and you want to remember what the 90s were like, well, let me remind you. It was a time when there was a song about Vindaloo. It was a time when literally everyone watched The Big Breakfast every morning, and the only time that anyone had heard about Corona was that fancy Mexican beer with a lime popped in the top of it. Also, in the 90s, people actually paid for music. Crazy, right? Do you remember those? Do you remember actually paying for a CD? Let's see how all that fancy, weird music purchasing led to one of the biggest stories of the decade.
Do you remember Britpop? You know, Parkers, guitars, Union Jacks, basically the 90s. Britpop was birthed out of the grunge and shoegaze scenes of the mid-80s and pulled together a lighter, cheerier side to alternative music. It would go on to become the UK mainstream and define British culture for the era. Dozens of bands like Pulp, Elastica and Suede would find success in the genre, but undoubtedly the two biggest were Blur and Oasis. And yep, they obviously hated each other. But why? In this episode of Explained, we look into the Blur-Oasis feud and the Battle of Britpop. It started in August 1995, where a chart battle actually made the TV news. Was it hysteria? Was it hype? Well, maybe it was a little bit of both. At that point, both Blur and Oasis were in transitional periods. Blur had enjoyed huge success in 1994 with Parklife, which cemented them as one of Britain's best rock bands. Oasis were gearing up for the release of their second LP, after the enormous impact of their debut, Definitely Maybe. Up until the spring of '95, Oasis and Blur had been reasonably respectful toward each other, pretty unfazed with the other's success. And then, the stars aligned, and it looked as if the two biggest artists in Britpop would be going head-to-head for the #1 spot. Blur with Country House, and Oasis with Roll With It. The challenge was immediately thrown down. It was perfect for the press. The rough, working class, no-nonsense northerners versus the university-educated hipster southerners. And so, the mudslinging began. It's believed Blur actually moved the release date of their single in order to challenge the Mancunian brothers.
I'm a little nervous about the whole thing, obviously, because I think both bands have really upped the stakes.
Albans admitted that Noel Gallagher's jibes in the press used to hurt. So when the chance came to prove who was the better band, well, Damon's competitive streak got the better of him. And Creation Records boss Alan McGee recalls that Blur definitely moved their release date to go head-to-head with Oasis. Either way, both Country House and Roll With It were due to be released on Monday the 14th of August 1995. The Blur track was something of a novelty and written about former Food Records boss and Blur manager Dave Balfe, who'd quit the business and moved to the country. The track was accompanied by a video directed by Britpop's artist-in-residence Damien Hirst and starred comedians Keith Allen and Matt Lucas and model Joe Guest. Roll With It was given a, shall we say, much simpler video and was a standard film performance from the Gallaghers. In fact, Tim Burgess from the Charlatans called it Flat Pack Oasis. Noel explained that Roll With It was just a simple rock and roll tune. The CD was backed with the tracks It's Better People and Rocking Chair, plus a live version of Live Forever, taken from that summer's Glastonbury Festival. The competition immediately caught the eye of the NME, who stoked the controversy by calling it the Big Chart Showdown. And the battle even caught the attention of the mainstream news media. The result of the chart chase was unveiled on Sunday the 20th of August, at the end of the Top 40 countdown. Country House outsold Roll With It by 274,000 to 216,000 copies. Some cynics pointed to the fact that the Blur release had 2 CD singles, one with some live tracks from their Mile End show from June 1995. Alex James later explained that Blur won the battle, Oasis won the war, then Blur went on to win the whole campaign. The Gallaghers were not happy, and things remained frosty between the Oasis and Blur camp for a long time.
The issue's over?
Well, no, not until I see him and have a word with him about what he said about my band behind our back. It's not over. and until I speak to him, it's not over.
In the years since, the Gallagher brothers' own personal war saw their band split acrimoniously in 2009, and things have mellowed somewhat between the two Britpop Goliaths. The hatchet was officially buried in 2013, when Noel Gallagher joined Alban and Coxon on stage at a show for the Teenage Cancer Trust. Damon's since revealed that he values his friendship with Noel because they've shared the same experiences during the Battle of Britpop.
Yes, we may have lost the beloved chart battle, but at least nowadays in the year 2020, we've still got TikTok dance routines. Oh God. Let's have some more music. Now, it wouldn't be an Oasis celebration without us talking about a potential reunion. Of course, we all want it to happen. Only one person can make it happen. And that person is, of course, Gwigsy. You see, Gwigsy...
So it comes down to Liam and Noel.
What? What about Gwigsy? Have we got anything in this whole show about Gwigsy at all?
No, we talked about this earlier, Toby.
Well, that's a joke. He's the best part of the bloody band. Get my agent on the phone. I'm not doing anything unless we get more Gwigsy in this show.
Roll VT.
As I say, I've seen lots of interviews with you. I've seen lots of people asking you different questions about stuff, but no one's asked you, as far as I've seen yet, this question, which I think is the most important question, which is talking about Oasis getting back together. What would that mean to you? What would you want that to be?
Well, it depends, man, because it's not that simple. It's not about me getting back with Noel. We have to like each other before we can fucking share a stage, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter how much money you fucking put on it. I don't need that money, you know what I mean? It'd be just doing it for the money, then I ain't doing it, you know what I mean? And listen, it'd be nice to have £100 million in your fucking bank account, you know what I mean? But I've had £100 million, so it'd have to be a little bit more, you know what I mean? So it's not about the money, it'd be more about me and our kid coming to a sense where we go, right, we actually fucking like each other again. And at the moment, we're very two different people. He's one side of the coin and I'm the other. So it'd have to be, we have to get back, me and him have to get back to liking each other before we start even fucking talking about that, you know what I mean? Certainly not going to get back to it for money, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to get back, we're not going to get it back for fucking pressure or because someone hasn't seen us before. It's about me and him. If me and him get back together as mates and as brothers and all that tackle, then it'll naturally happen. But at the moment, it's fucking bazillion light years, man. I don't really like or care for what he's fucking about, and I'm sure he doesn't really like or care for what I'm about. But I have no fucking desire to be in a band with him because he's not the type of person I'd want to be in a band with. And probably, I'm sure it's the same. You know what I mean? Do you miss him? Do you miss hanging out with him? I missed the old Noel, who was a bit of a fucking lad and that. We had a laugh and all that, but he seems very. He doesn't seem like, you know. I'm not saying we should be the same person, but he seems like he's after something else in life, man. And I don't know what it is. Seems very easily bull. I don't know. It's not like me.
Do you not think? And I've no idea, but it's just to put it out there. Do you not think it just could be? We're all getting a bit older, but he's just a little bit older because we're pretty much the same age.
Yeah.
Like he's hit 50.
Yeah.
Some people have a midlife crisis at 40, and I'm not saying he's having a midlife crisis at all, but maybe he's just.
Yeah.
I don't know. Changed what he wants.
Yeah, but totally. But then if that's the case, then there is no place for rock and roll then in that case, because I'm not saying he should be like me and he should be going out and doing what he's doing, or because we all change, and I've changed. I've definitely slowed down. I'm not saying you should be going out fucking gobbing on people and fucking swearing and shit like that, or whatever it is that people think we are. But I'm more on about the corporate side of it. He seems he's living in a world of, he's living over there in that world, you know what I mean? And there's no fucking room for Oasis in that world as far as I'm concerned. I'd rather fucking work in McDonald's, mate, or get hit by a fucking 18-wheeler at 100 miles an hour to bring my band and put it in that world.
But I don't think it would be. I think the band would always be there. I think
well, it depends who's running the fucking shit, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Who's steering it, you know what I mean? And if he's going to be steering it, it'll definitely end up in that fucking world, and it ain't happening.
I'm not into reunions and all that. I don't mind bands that do it, but if there was one, if I was God for a day and you could make it happen and they all be happy about it being happening, I would love to see the Smiths again.
I go Jam, Smiths, Oasis. I'd have those three. And not that you're relevant to any of that.
I'd have two of those three.
No, but I'm saying they're the ones. And sometimes what I think I'll start doing, just to really piss people like you off, who are part of a band, the lineup's still there, no one's left us yet. I often want to do this just to annoy Weller, is just to start a charity website where loads of us contribute. So there's effectively like an £8 million kitty of which just $1 million's going to go to charity and the rest you crack on, and you've just got no choice. The charity, I call it the Half Nelson charity. So to get charity, get you to a Half Nelson. There's really
so the £7 million.
Yes.
That you can just divvy up between the lot of you.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you do it, mate, and show me the actual money.
Seriously, I'm going to do it. I'll get the gig on.
Would Gwigsy show?
We'll get
Gwigsy's got nothing to do with it.
He's not the one who's going to make or break it.
He left.
Actually, it'd be easy. If I got all three of you there for the night, well, Oasis, the Jam, then you sort of get strength. Then you get the strength of like, we've got to do it now. So I get all three.
Stop playing with my drinks.
It'll be my invitational, and I'll just get all of you there because I'd love to see the Smiths again, man.
Yeah,
I'd love to see you lot again, and
The
to
Jam
see
as well.
the Jam were just great, man.
Unbelievable.
Just unbelievable. I know there's some problem with. I think it was the drummer, and I don't know exactly who's fallen out there.
Well, when bands break up, they break up for a reason, and when they get back together, it's usually that reason rears its head again, not soon after.
Yeah.
But people get old, and I know Paul well, he's a neighbour of mine, and he doesn't do those songs because his whole thing has changed, and he was a young guy, he was a teenager singing teenage anthems.
Yeah.
But the Roses managed to do it.
But for them, they never really got paid first time round. Their songs are not teen anthems; they're more universal than that. But I mean,
I just like the fact that you've chosen this show to say, listen, Vaughan, you get that package together, but you can see the lads there.
You get me an Adidas Oldo with 8 million quid in it. I'm there.
8 million? You've already raised it. Wow.
With raglan sleeves.
Wait a minute, 1 million was for charity.
7 million then.
Okay, 7 million. Nice.
7 million.
7 million, you're on. Okay, 7 million.
Yep.
I've written down here 7 million. No,
It's
memo.
done.
Available.
Memo to self. Get no.
Just the 7 mil to
And a
raise.
whole
7 mil. Okay, that's it. That's
Yeah, seems like it might be a tough one, that. However, there is one man that is really keen for this to happen. So Liam, Noel, if you won't do it for us, please do it for him.
Now you've met both the Gallagher brothers. Are you the man to get Oasis back together?
Both of you probably don't like my music, and wouldn't you love to see me not be in the charts? If you guys got back together, right, and do like a Oasis album repackage, you'll knock me out of the charts for sure. You probably don't like that. I mean, look, you don't like. I mean, no, for one, you don't like the tunes, my man. So you don't like them. And Liam, I mean, look, you probably don't like them either. So if you guys want to eradicate me from popular music, what you're going to have to do is get together and reform, and I'll see you there.
Brilliant. Thank you for that.
Imagine he did, and that was like that.
All right, my name's Liam Gallagher, and I'm going to be answering my most Googled questions. What is Liam Gallagher's real name? God, don't forget it. Why does Liam Gallagher wear a parka? Because it makes me look cool. What is Liam Gallagher wearing? I'm wearing a parka as per usual. I'm wearing a pair of jeans and a pair of pretty green kind of deserty boots. Will Liam Gallagher tour in 2019? Of course, there's nothing else to do. Starting a tour, and we're probably touring in November, a proper tour. Why does Liam Gallagher say "as you were"? Because I know it annoys certain people. Why does Liam Gallagher stand like that? Interesting. I don't know, man. I just reckon I've stood like this. Man, how else are you meant to stand? You're meant to just stand how you're meant to stand. Why does Liam Gallagher sing like that? Because it makes me loads of money. And people love it. Has Liam Gallagher got a new album? I have a new album. It's called Why Me, Why Not? And it's out in September. Why is Liam Gallagher's new album called Why Me, Why Not? It's called Why Me, Why Not because I got a picture. I bought a picture years ago, John Lennon's art exhibition, and then his wife, Yoko Ono, sent me another one and it had Why Me on it. And then the other one said Why Not? That was about 20 years ago, so I thought I'd call my album that. What is Liam Gallagher's paper crown about? Interesting, not sure what it's about. I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. Go and have a listen and work it out yourself. Liam Gallagher drive, no. How far does Liam Gallagher run? I run about an hour most days, so however far that is, uphills, downhills. Does Liam Gallagher run a marathon? Never, not running with fried eggs and people dressed as pizzas and stuff. Not what it's about. Does Liam Gallagher have any tattoos? I have one tattoo right there, and I'm not going to show you because I can't be arsed taking the jack off, but it's Elvis says taking care of business in a flash. faith, spirit and discipline. How tall is Liam Gallagher? Say about 5'10", maybe, I don't know, 5'10", something like that. Not 6 foot anyway. Is Liam Gallagher on Twitter? Yes, I am on Twitter. Check it out, it's good crack. What shoe size is Liam Gallagher? I'm a 8.5, 9. How old is Liam Gallagher? 46, I think. Or could be 47. I always get mixed up. What is Liam Gallagher's favourite Oasis song? Live Forever. Why did Liam Gallagher leave Oasis? I didn't leave Oasis. Noel Gallagher left Oasis because he couldn't handle the vibes anymore, couldn't handle the rock and roll. So now he's gone all cosmic pop and Leo Sayer. That's why he couldn't handle it. He's too scared of it. Couldn't handle the rock and roll.
Now, of course, one of the most loved, most popular songs on the What's the Story Morning Glory album is the Swamp song, Excerpt 2. However, we don't have any clips of Noel or Liam talking about that song. So here's Noel talking about Don't Look Back in Anger instead.
With Don't Look Back in Anger, singing that, did that make a big difference to you? Kind of singing the song and getting that song recognised and not admired and loved?
Not at the time. At the time, it was just another song on our second album. Honestly, as the years have gone by, it's like that song is now more important than I'll ever be. You know, there's footage on the internet now of people singing it in Manchester, candles and all that, and you know, it's kind of it is incredible to think that a few generations now have attached some kind of importance to that song. There was mine, then it was passed on to another generation, and that song now has become a hymn to something or other. You know, I still play it. I play it acoustically to 100 competition winners, or I play it to 70,000 people at a festival. It still works. There's not many songs you can say that about. I certainly can't say that about all my songs, you know. And you do sit there sometimes and think, you know, I'd probably only have to introduce it and play the first chord. I could probably walk off then and nobody'd notice. You know, because there's just people with their eyes shut, you know, crying and stuff, and it's like it's an amazing thing, you know. It's something something I never kind of take for granted either, you know.
Does it make you feel humbled? Can Noel Gallagher feel humbled?
It makes me feel. Is it proud the word I'm looking for? I don't ever sit there and think, no, I wrote that, you know. I think it came from somewhere else. I think it was a song that was there somewhere, and if I hadn't have written it, Bono would have wrote it. You know, it's like those great songs, One and Let It Be, and yeah, I did just compare myself to Paul McCartney there for a second. You know, you know, they're there. You know, if they fall out of the sky and land on your lap, then lucky you.
Now, believe it or not, Noel Gallagher was not always the sunglass-wearing egomaniac that we know and love today. In fact, many years ago, he was just a young buck trying to make it in this crazy industry. So, he used to ask for help from passers-by. It just so happened that one of those passers-by was Johnny f***ing Marr.
Noel says he has a kind of bat phone, which is a hotline straight to you when he is in an emergency and he needs to talk to the only person who can help him out, which is Johnny Marr. And in some ways, I mean, you showed an extraordinary act of generosity, because Noel tells this story about how when he was starting out in Oasis, you met by kind of chance.
Yeah.
And you took him to a guitar shop and you gave him a guitar.
Yeah, we went to a guitar shop. I didn't get him a guitar from the shop. I gave him one that was much more valuable. But no. I gave it. Yeah, he was skint, and back then I just liked him, and honestly, I had no idea who would have known that Oasis were going to be. They didn't know. I mean, no one could have predicted what was going to happen to him. He was just this guy who I recognised was intense and really serious about what he was doing, and he was skint, and I had a load of guitars, and I thought, right, okay, well, I'll give him this guitar, and he could have come to nothing really. It would have made no difference to me, and I had loads of people. Well, I had some people give me a helping hand when I started out, right? Little things here and there, and you need it, so you do need it. So it just turned out that he then became really, really successful, and then he hit someone in the audience with it and broke it and asked me for another one, which I gave him because I was drinking back then, and that's absolutely the truth. But I don't regret it for a minute. Those two guitars I gave Noel. One was the one I wrote The Queen Is Dead on and recorded all of that stuff on, and I'm really more than happy that it's gone to a good home. He loves having them, and me and him laugh and joke about it. That I loaned him and he didn't, never returned it and all of that. And fans get on me about that, but they're absolutely Noel's guitars, and I'm proud to be a big part of that story, really.
That is what happened when Johnny Marr first met Noel, and this is what happened when Sam Fender first met Liam Gallagher. That was seamless. That was good.
How did you feel when Definitely Maybe hit number one?
What, for the first time?
Yeah, what was your feeling like?
I don't know, man. I was just we were just out and about, man. So, obviously we were made up on that because that's what you want, innit? But we knew it was a good record. So, yeah, man, I don't know how I felt. I was probably on top of the world, I guess, man.
Aye.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
But we didn't have much time to think about it. We just got straight into the next one. The partying kind of thing. It wasn't like we would already, we didn't do anything extraordinary. We were partying all the way up to it, and we were partying all the way out of it. So it's not like we sort of went and did anything different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was just one constant party.
Yeah, that's the way it was with Oasis, man.
We were.
How did you feel when you were number one?
It's not really. It's just. It's not really. I guess it's. It's mad. You work all your life and smash all these gigs out, and you play all these tunes, and you fucking write all of these songs, and you do that, and you do that, and then you bring the record out, and then it's just like, okay, now we start.
Yeah.
It's kind of mad. I don't feel much different other than that's a why am I fucking lying here? I feel mental, mate.
Yeah. No, it's hard to put your finger on it, isn't it? But I don't know, man. It's mad, isn't it? You'll probably realise when you're number 2 next week.
Love that. That was Sam Fender covering Morning Glory. And now I've got a real treat for you because Miles Kane recorded this especially for Radio X. This is him performing the most underrated, underappreciated track on the album. This is Miles Kane doing Hey Now.
You know that I gotta say, time slipping away.
I mean, stuff like that, you know what I mean? But that ain't me, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? When you're hungover and all that, and you think, you know what I mean? But once you get out there, it's the best thing ever, man. It just, you know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? No need to be skinny, you know what I mean? My day was done and dusted by 9 a.m, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so there was a lot of like hours to fill, you know what I mean? So really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's free, you know what I mean? Ever, you know, she's never free, are you? You know what I mean? So like, you know what I mean? And we come back and like that. I'm so proud of it, you know what I mean? It was like, we did what we meant to do, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So you can't force it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? It's still, and then that was good, you know what I mean? And here we are today, you know what I mean? It's like, then it's good to be back doing stuff, you know what I mean? It's like being in a Carry On film, innit? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't, you know what I mean? You're never gonna hear me moaning about having to go on stage, you know what I mean? It's still bubbling, you know what I mean? Just needs, you know what I mean? And I just, you know what I mean? I'm not fuck for that, mate. You know what I mean? It's like fucking, it's good, mate. Love Island's where it's at, you know what I mean?
Now, before we finish, we held a vote in the Radio X office to pick our favourite Liam and Noel moments. And when I say we held a vote, what I mean is our producer just picked his 2 favourite moments and put them into the show. So first up is Johnny Vaughan talking to Liam Gallagher about crisps, of course.
Do you like a quiet sort of failing pub where you can just sort of get in somewhere?
I don't want busy people.
No.
I want to just be in the corner. I want a corner with crisps.
Yeah, okay.
Open the crisps up so everyone can have a go.
Yeah.
Or me and my missus, and then I just want I don't want to be disturbed.
Flash bastard.
I don't want to be disturbed.
Is that what you do around the missus? You'll open up the crisps. You'll open up the crisps.
Yeah, well,
you flash.
You know what I mean?
You flash. Oh, look at you. Look at it. I'm Liam Gallagher. Here's all my fucking money.
It's not the crisps, man.
Go and help yourselves, love. Crack away. Crisps, anyone? Yay, go on.
Yeah, a couple of flavours.
Go on.
Help yourself.
Help yourself.
Like putting on a spread, innit?
Do your worst.
Like putting on a finger sandwich spread.
If I like it when mates put on a bit of spread, you like, so someone gets some pork scratching, someone gets some nuts, and you sort of act like it's a spread.
You can't be sitting in a fucking pub with a packet of crisps in your hand, can you?
No.
Going in like that, can you? You might as well open them up to the people.
Have you done?
But just your missus, because you don't want people like...
God, you're a man of the people, aren't you?
And our favourite Noel moment? Well, that would be Noel getting mistaken for a certain Welsh singer.
No, I went on a date with this girl. And I was telling her I work for Radio X and everything. She goes, all right. She's talking about guitar-based stuff. And she's a bit younger than me. She suddenly goes, so do you like Slade? Do you like Slade? And I was like, what? Well, yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I mean, it's not something I expect to be asked tonight, but yeah, I do like Slade. I realised she actually said, do you like slaves? I got into this really in-depth chat about, Come On Feel the Noise was a rowdy Suede anthem. And
if you just gone to it, so... I had someone come up to me recently and say, are you in that band? And I'm like... Oasis, I'm like, yes, and this girl just went, it's all over the front. No. As I was looking at her going, this is give me road. I loved you. It's like,
wow, not in the right sex.
Do you know what you should do? You should cover it just for her.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Seriously, say, this is one. Say, well, here it is.
And she did the arm movements as well. So I was like, wow.
This is to mistake you for Kerry
I'm
Katona.
a Welsh woman.
Yeah, Keris Matthews.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Not Kerry Katona.
Yeah. Sorry. That's as bad.
Very different
That's as
kind
bad. And it ended up with him being an atomic kitten, right?
What's the story, morning glory? Yeah, I need a little time to wait. That was us celebrating 25 years of the album What's the Story, Morning Glory. What do the next 25 years hold? Who knows? Will there be a reunion? Probably not. Will there be more reissues? You better believe it, you lucky pups. Seeing us out, this is Liam Gallagher performing Wonderwall.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you got to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the lights that light the way are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. Because maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. Today was gonna be the day, but they'll never throw it back to you. And by now you should have somehow realized what you got to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the lights that light the way are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. Thank you.
Any more takes? No. Cool. Good. Right, I'm off to hot yoga.